Alrighty, ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, we ended up getting that bounce into yesterday's range, and we did end up selling at some key spots. Okay, so this was right over here. And then on QQQ, as we can see, I'm just going to clean this chart up for a little bit. All right, we did end up rejecting right where we broke down from yesterday, and this was the level. I'm pretty sure we identified in yesterday's video here, 516.66. If we started getting above there, if sellers did not hold, that's when this is starting to look like a bear trap. We did end up rejecting right there. We did not get our closes above it there on the 4-hour time frame. We danced around it, and we started doing this into the close. We started getting a little bit of rug pull action going on. I am just going to say this very well could have been the corrective move off of this before going lower, and that could have just brought 1-hour RSIs and 15-minute RSIs out from oversold territory so we can end up falling further. I'm just going to say it is looking more and more like this thing wants to roll over. The 4-hour chart is bearish. I'm not necessarily going to say this daily chart looks all that bad. It still can just pop right back up. It's still in the realm of possibility. But I am definitely going to show you what we have on the 4-hour time frame, and it just looks to me like it wants to roll over. If you do end up taking out 511.24 tomorrow, at that point, 507.89 is on the table, and let's get it popping all the way down to 500. All right, that $500 psych level, guys, that is where, you know, I think it's very possible over here on QQQ to hit. It's going to be either SPY's 200 DMA or QQ's 200 DMA. That's the daily moving average right there. That's going to bring buyers back into the mix. If these spots don't hold, we have a larger sell on the table. That is just how it looks. But as of right now, this is how the weekly candle is looking. If they really manage to sell it tomorrow, they close this thing out at the bottom of the last week's range or lower, I have to assume we're probably going to go a little bit lower on that next week. Doesn't always have to be the case. You could see right here, you just had a little red week over there, followed by, you know, the resuming of the uptrend. But guess what? We have a massive gap over here. I assume if we start getting down here, we're probably at least going to fill the gap, which is going to be sitting all the way at 570.31. That's the weekly gap that we left behind. I'll just take this one off over there. We'll watch the weekly gap. It's at 570.31. And, you know, same thing as QQQ over there. You have this impulse move down. You had a rather corrective move today. You didn't do anything. You did nothing. All right. No clear, no clear direction. You were clearly, you know, getting bid up throughout the day, but you're stair stepping your way up to take the elevator down into the close. Now with how this 4-hour candle closed here, it makes our game plan moving forward very simple. You're looking for shorts unless it gets back above 587.60. I'm specifically going to be watching QQQ over here. All right. So if QQQ takes out 511.24, we're looking for continuation down here, 507.89 and potentially 501.48. I don't think that's going to happen all in one day, honestly. I don't think they're going to do it right into Friday's close. I really don't. They can do it, but I don't think it's probable. What I will tell you right now, I know I'm going back and forth, all right? We're covering SPY and QQ at the same time because these are both our you know, different pieces to our puzzle here, okay? On SPY over here, I'm just going to point out, even in your uptrends, okay? Even when these aggressive moves up, you still end up hitting the 4-hour RSI oversold territory. You still get down here. Doesn't always happen. You had a very shallow, you know, pullback here, and you already got all the way over there. All right, and then you had this guy over here. Where did it end? 4-hour RSI was right at oversold territory. Over here, you didn't quite get down there. You actually did have a bullish divergence going on from here to here, here to here, and then that gave you that. Excuse-moi. And then you came down over here, and you did also print a 4-hour bullish divergence, but, you know, the more important thing is you got it down into oversold territory. I can look back, and this is something that repeats time and time and time again. The market has been in a standstill. I'm telling you, this thing looks like it's just slowly rolling over. So unless it takes out 587.60, I think we are going to be coming down here, and I think that 4-hour RSI is going to get oversold. So if you see price at the 200 DMA at 575.50 tomorrow, and the 4-hour RSI is not oversold, it's not a reason to be blindly buying. Okay, you're gonna wait for the lower time frames to see if you start getting your reversal. I'll tell you when they start popping up, when the signs start popping up. But I'm telling you right now, we're probably going to get that, decent correction here where the 4-hour RSI gets oversold. So that's something we're definitely going to be paying attention to here, specifically on SPY. All right, now let's just go over the levels we're going to be paying attention to. All right, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. There we go. We'll mark out today's low. Yeah, you know what? We'll keep it like that. Those are the blue levels, okay? If you take out today's low at 581.41, we're going to be watching for the test of 577.04, and then 570.31 is going to be below. Now, at this point in time, guys, that is only a 2.5% move down. No, not even a 2.5%. That is a 2% move down. That is so doable to do in one trading session. Guys, bring volatility back. Make volatility great again. We can do this, okay, market participants? You can sell this market off, and you can make it so we don't have to watch paint dry all day intraday. You get, a few good moves. But for the most part, when VIX is all, this low, you have a lack of volatility intraday. I honestly would love to see the volatility come back intraday. So let's hope we do get that. On the upside, you're just going to be watching that 587.60 level. If you get above there, things start to change pretty quick. Okay, this starts to look like a giant bear trap. Okay, like that's what I'm saying. This candle, how it closed, the inverted hammer style candlestick here, it's still something that we have often seen you pivot off of. Do you see what happened right here? Right here, you did take out that low the next day, but as you saw, you started pivoting off of it. That's still, again, in the realm of possibilities. That can happen here. I don't know if we're going to find another little example here, but, a lot of time when you see that, it's just, it's an indecision candlestick. It's something that, when you start having the impulsive move down and you print that indecision candlestick, you just know the market participants as a whole are saying, pump the brakes. We don't know which way we want to go right now. We could potentially bounce off of this. We could continue lower off of this. So it's not telling you much. So you just have to watch for your context clues. I'm telling you right now, though, I'm pretty sure the 4-hour RSI is going to get down into oversold territory if you take down this low. I think we're just going to keep selling somewhere over here, and this is going to be oversold. If it does not happen this time, it's probably going to happen on the next correction. So if it doesn't happen this time, we're going to see how it didn't happen over here. You just popped right back up. If it doesn't happen this time, on the next correction, whenever it starts up, we know to be looking for the 4-hour RSI getting into oversold territory. Regardless, that is a condition that I'm going to be looking for. All right, so the levels on the upside, you're really just paying attention to 587.60, and then above there, you're looking for those long setups, maybe those intraday continuation setups over there on the 15-minute time frame. But you can see here on the hourly time frame, you get above here, okay? You get above here, maybe you come back, retest the hourly 21 EMA, and then you have some structure to actually go off of to structure your trade. I don't think you're just going to skyrocket through here. If you do, it is what it is. There's nothing you could do about it. At that point, wait to see if you get a pullback, and then, you could play that. But it's something we're just going to have to play the waiting game on, okay? And then on the downside, you're just watching 581.41, 577.04, 575.50, and 570.31. Coming over here to QQQ. All right, what are the levels we're going to watch on the upside? 516.66. I'm going to mark out the current daily high. So this was today's high, 517.71. If you take out 517.71, at that point, this thing is probably going to start drifting higher. Okay, so from this point, this level has served its purpose. We've gotten a rejection there. Now we have a very clear, new level here we could pay attention to. And if you take out this level here, 517.71, this thing is probably going to start heading back up the highs. This is a bear trap. That is all you're paying attention to, okay? From that point, guys, on the downside, we're watching today's low. We're going to watch yesterday's low. We're not going to watch today's low. We're going to watch yesterday's low, which is coming in at 511.24. Actually right over here. It was the same level. I just moved it. Underneath 511.24, we're going to target the 507.89 gap. And then under there, 501.48. And then we have 493.46, which is right around the 200 DMA. Like I was saying before, either SPYs or QQs is likely to be tested here and hold this support. I don't know which one it is, but if SPYs, if we get down there, SPYs 4-hour RSI is not oversold yet. We're going to assume that it's not going to hold the 200, and then QQs, maybe we start coming down here to its 200 DMA. We don't know, but I'm just going to tell you guys, from the current close, all right, from today's close, this is only 4% away. This is 2 ugly red days away from happening. SPYs, 2% away. It's so possible. It's within the realm of possibilities. Coming over to VIX, we told you to be watching it today. And I am just going to say it did reject the 21 EMA like we were pointing out. This was going to be your key. All right. If it starts coming up here and it starts rejecting, look for the bounce over there in the indices. Luckily, we had the 15-minute RSI just oversold coming into the open. So, you know, even if we did end up taking out the low, we're going to be looking for that, you know, that bounce, that second win action to come later in the day. Probably still would have been a dead cat bounce, but that was something we were ready for over there. As we saw, we did not get it, but VIX did reject right there the 21 EMA. Now it is still the level, and it's even more of a strong level to watch over here, because if you now take it out, you're taking out this, you know, you had buyers, you had sellers. I know VIX, you know, it's not actually buyers and sellers. I know. Okay. You don't got to tell me. But let's just talk about it. Okay. You were getting bought up and then it got sold. If the sellers over here, if you start getting through it, well, guess what? VIX starts moving. Okay. And again, it's not something that you just buy and sell. That's not how price is moving over here on VIX, but we can easily read the candlesticks. Shout out to anybody else who's suffering from allergies. I feel like I have been feeling a scratchy throat and voice cracks more often recently, but I know my family, at least, we have allergies. So let me know in the comments if you guys are also feeling the allergies. All right, but that's pretty, you know, very simple over here. Over there, SPY, QQ, VIX over here. You have a very clear game plan. I want you guys right now, okay, if you guys are having trouble tracking the market, okay, I know it's a tricky market. I want you guys to put on these alerts right now. I want you to mark out my levels here, and I want you to put on those alerts. If these alerts get hit, then you know something is likely going to be happening. That's it. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. All right, you're going to set your QQ alerts 581.41. Set it. Another one, 587.60 over, that's for SPY, and then QQQ you're going to do 517.71 like I got right there, and you got 511.24 like we got right there. And if this gets hit, you know, you're probably going to be sliding a little further. And then, like, let's say you come over here. Let's look at it this way. Let's say you open the day down here. Our 15-minute RSI is oversold. Well, you look for the bounce, maybe over off of this level right there. Look for the rejection. I mean, normally you're going to have a better picture right before open with, you know, as far as, you know, intraday game plan. That is what, if you're going to trade with me, I will provide you with that intraday game plan on SPY, QQ, NQES, and most of the time at least one to two option trades. Days like today's, you know, I'm going to be completely honest, you know, I could point out some bearish option trades, but I had a very strong feeling we weren't going to be going anywhere today on, you know, any of these tickers. So the only thing I saw was, coin ended up coming and actually having a really big move here into the close. And I do think this is probably going to continue pumping over here. I think Coinbase can have a good day tomorrow. And if it does, it closes out the week strong, you're probably going to continue higher the following week. All right, but it's really looking like this was your consolidation. You're starting to break up. So let's see if we get follow through to this move tomorrow. If you do not, risky potatoes, okay? It's definitely not the saying, but that's my saying, okay? Risky potatoes. It's risky biscuits. But that is coin over here. And then MSTR, guys, it's either going to hold here or it's not. You can see right here, it didn't even test the 21 the whole time. It just kept, you know, riding it up. Well, if it doesn't hold right here, then it's clip. All right, this little run it's having, it's over. You're probably going to be revisiting these lower prices. Okay, we're talking like 350. All right, so, you know, very clear, you know, risk to reward here. You're going to be risking down here for the move. I'm still thinking it gets up to 445 plus. I am. Just look at how this weekly chart is looking over here. If we sell drastically tomorrow here and we lose that area, then guess what? All right, then we're probably coming down here, testing the 21 EMA, the weekly 21 EMA like we did over here. And then we would look for a setup over there on the daily time frame from there to risk off of, okay? Hiccups. Every day I got the hiccups when I'm making these videos. It'll never go away because I talk so fast, and I guess air just gets in the lungs. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's what caused the hiccups. So I apologize for the hiccups, but maybe you guys enjoy hearing my hiccups at this point. I don't know. I've been told my singing ain't too bad. Maybe the hiccups ain't too bad either, okay? All right, but that's SPY and QQQ VIX. Let's just quickly review these Mag 7 stocks, how these close out the day, guys. Nvidia, it's still, you know, in the middle of doing absolutely nothing. You filled the gap over here, 131.22 in yesterday's session, and you popped back up today. This can still easily pop up through here. Watch 134.24 above there, 136.35 above there. You have the 0.786 fib, but if you start moving up from this area, I think you're not going to stop. I think you're gonna go 140 plus. That is what we're looking at over here. And if you pull back, which I'm thinking is more likely than not at this point, into earnings over here, you have earnings next Wednesday on the 28th, okay? If you pull back into earnings, you pull back to the 200, then I think odds are increased that we're probably going to bounce off of those. All right, and that could be a positive catalyst for the market. Apple, guys, you watch 198.23 and under there 193.25. Like I said, you know, Apple really didn't want to lose this 203.51 level here. You didn't want to get under it. Why? Because that opens you up to coming back down to this weekly low at 193.25. That would look butt ugly, and I'm just going to say this does already look butt ugly. So I wouldn't be just blindly long in Apple. I don't think there's a reason to do so. I think there's a reason to you know, just realize the market can go either way from here. We're going to take advantage of it on the downside. We're going to trade intraday either way, no matter what. But as far as, you know, our option swings goes, I know all of you guys aren't trading options. I know, but that is definitely, you know, that has been my focus, my skill set, and, you know, what I have built over, you know, I don't know. It's been years and years and years and years now. It's been since 2020. I've been building the option skill set. So, you know, everything, when I'm looking at these charts, I evaluate things in terms of options. All right. Like that's always what I'm thinking about. So if you ever hear me talking about it, don't let me stress you out about it. Okay. You don't have to be trading options. You can easily trade your shares. All of this stuff that we talk about, the technical analysis, is not strictly for that. All right. But that is my focus. So if you're new here and you ever do hear me talking about it, that is why. Okay. And if you want to come trade options with me, if you want to come trade, you know, intraday with me every day, I trade futures intraday. I try and avoid options day trading, but I am a swing trader. That link will be down below, but I will be live every morning. And tomorrow, yeah, we're going to see what we get. I think we're going to get a decent day tomorrow. I think we get a decent move down, or we do end up popping this thing up and saving that weekly candle. One or the other, I think, is coming tomorrow. We're going to see what happens, but I'm excited for it. All right, so that's Apple, that's Nvidia. What about Google, guys? Google did end up rejecting up here 176.90 and got a second close back underneath the 200. I would not be bullish here. I just really wouldn't. It doesn't mean it can't pop right back up, but now it's 2 days in a row where sellers are defending the 200 DMA, and we already knew that was, you know, that was going to be the target if you could pop above 168.24. You had me in the first half over there, but then you held right over here, 163.24. That was the level where we were going to flip back to bearish on this chart. That was where we're probably coming down here, breaking down for the bear flag. What happened? You popped up to the top of the bear flag. It's still a bear flag. It's still a giant bear flag, and we can see this thing viciously sell. Not sure if it's actually going to happen, but it is something I will make you guys aware of, okay? I wouldn't just be blindly long in Goog. The time to do so was when it was pulling back over here, or then it broke above 168.24. All right, so that's Google. Coming over to Microsoft, what did you print on the day, guys? All right, you got not the most bullish looking candlestick. You swept the high at 459.59. Guys, this thing looked like a monster in the morning and then came down the whole rest of the day. That's weakness. Okay, that's just weakness to me. I'm sorry. You know, bulls out there, if you want to see this thing just get bought up, I don't think it's going to get bought up right away. I think we are going to get a larger pullback, and ideally, Microsoft back to 440 to 445. All right, so that's Microsoft. Coming over here to Meta. This is the one chart, aside from Amazon. I'm going to say Amazon, my number one right now, Mag 7 stock to long. Meta, I'm not going to be long in it, but I'll tell you guys right now, it's clear as they consolidate in here. It's either going to break under 626.15 and come down to 611.30 probably tomorrow, or you're going to start popping back up from this. You get a daily close above 641.86, and then you just resume your uptrend. Okay, we really don't know what's going to happen here, but I'm just telling you, it's the same concept as that inverted hammer candlestick. That's, you know, the thing we got today on SPY and QQQ. It's the same thing. You got them right here. It's just, they're showing your indecision. That's all it is, guys. It's just showing indecision. The market is like, wait, hang on. Let's not resume the selling just yet. We don't know which way we want to go. We don't know. All right. But I'm telling you right now, you get a daily close above 641.86. This thing is probably going to push back up 662.67. And I think it's probably just going to keep trending up. If you do end up breaking down under 626.15, all hope is not lost for the bulls because the next spot is at 611.30. All right. And if that, gets tested there, that's right at the daily 21. You're still, it's still possible to find buyers here and then just move back up. But at that point, you're going to have the 200 sitting right back down here. I think you're probably going to at least test that. All right. So that's what I'm watching on Meta. Now let's just look at the absolute beauty today. Okay. Amazon, 2 days in a row, defending the 200, got the 21 EMA sitting right below 202.67. All right. You're still, having a battle around that level. We're just going to take that off because it's not so important to us right now. This is the range that's important. 206.21 down to the 200 DMA. We're just going to say 198.34 up to 206.21. That's the range right now that we're paying attention to. That's the lower level. That's the upper level. You start getting above 206.21, we're going to target that 208.85 gap that we just did not hit over here. And then above there, 211.66. And then we're finally targeting 216.20. On the downside, let's say you do pull back tomorrow with the rest of the market, and this does not hold 198.34. This thing could get slippery. We're coming down to 188.65 pretty quick. All right. You do have this gap sitting right there at 194.69, but I think if you do lose the 21 EMA, I think it's likely we stay below it for at least a few days. And that means we have risk of coming all the way down here, 188.65. We can see here on the weekly chart. All right. This is it's front running the rest of the market right now. Okay. Everything has these really big weekly gaps. Well, guess what? Amazon, it's sitting at 194.69. It's almost down there. Okay, it's already at the 200, unlike SPY and QQ. And if SPY and QQ do end up getting that, sell over there, we're probably, even if SPY and QQ don't fill the weekly gap, Amazon's probably getting down here. All right, but, as of right now, like, this is clear as day. This is where you want to be, like, this is why this is why it's getting defended here. At the 200 DMA. You took so long, getting above it, and you popped above it with this big gap. You just pull back in a controlled manner here. For all I know, this thing is just going to go like this. That's why I say, like, just be patient. I gave you guys the game plan over there on SPY and QQQ. All right, you know where you're going to be placing your alerts. Just wait to see what happens. You don't have to go crazy, okay? Just wait to see what happens. All right, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I tried keeping it short. We covered, a very, very detailed, extensive game plan here for you guys. I missed out on Tesla the other day. I did not mention it yesterday. I forgot it. I let it slip my mind over here. And I'm just going to go over this chart real quick with you guys, okay? Top of the range, bottom of the range. You have a high here. You have a low here. Well, right here, you had a bull trap. The next day, you had a bear trap. So this is trap number 2. Then you had another bull trap. Trap number 3. Bear trap the next day. Trap number 4. Gap down underneath range low. That's trap number 5. And then you close back in it. What happens when you sweep the low of a range? You typically will target the other side of the range. It's just like when you get a false break out and it comes back into the range. You target the lower end of the range. If we're going to follow that principle, this thing's about to push to the top of the range here at 350 again. Let's see if we actually do get the daily close above 354.99 into the end of the week here. And yeah, Tesla's probably coming up 373 to 384 early next week. Not saying it's going to happen, but I'm definitely more bullish than bearish over here. This Tesla chart is bullish. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The thing likes to move alone. It can move with the market, but it has its outsized moves on its own. And I'm telling you right now, we're a week into this consolidation. Worst case scenario, we build out some crap like this for 2 to 3 weeks. This is 2.5 weeks right here. Or that's 3 weeks right there. We build some crap out. All right. But hold this 200 DMA, this 21 EMA here. And then we push up. So I'm thinking something like that. Or something like we're just going to push through this and head up here. Regardless, both are bullish. I'm a buyer if you come all the way back down here between 300 and 310. Very clear as day. Like, that's where you should be looking for buyers there. Like, ideally, you're just going to hold the daily 21 here, like during this consolidation. You did not violate that. If you violate it, like, I don't really want to see it. I'm going to be honest. So ideally, we don't even come back down here and test it. But you do have the 200 sitting right there. So I'd assume this is an area that's going to hold. All right. So, I don't think it's a good idea to get bearish on Tesla. I think Tesla is very likely going to continue higher after all is said and done. With that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll just put one on your radar here for tomorrow. I don't know how the market's going to be moving tomorrow because, like I said, we got to wait and see what happens. We get the game plans for both directions. But I'll tell you right now, Oklo does look like it is probably going to continue popping off. I don't know if it's going to move, against the market or anything, if the market's going to sell and this thing's going to go. I really have absolutely no idea, but I can tell you that this is a range over here that consists of, I think it's $4 of range. $6 of range. If you break above 41.33, you do have 43.70 right above, but the range alone is $6, and that could easily take you up to, we're going to say 47 to 48 bucks. All right, Oklo is something that once we, we're down here, we were looking at it. All right, and then once this actual impulsive move started popping off, it was somewhere over here. I was like, this thing is probably it's starting another one of these guys. And then we closed out the week like that, and we're going to take advantage of a move down this week if we got it. Over here, they actually did dilution over there. They did an offering. That's why, that ended up happening. But if that didn't happen, this thing probably just would have, gotten up here quicker. I'm thinking we can start seeing the impulsive move here. Like, this is where we are starting to see, it's going to get a bit crazier than what we saw down here as we start seeing these more volatile prices. Momentum is building on itself. And again, this is a beautiful range we got cooking over here, a $6 range. If it breaks up, like, this is the next leg up over for Oklo. And you're probably, we're talking 45 to 50 comes pretty quick. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not. If it doesn't go tomorrow, I assume it's going to go next week. And yeah, that's your trade idea going into tomorrow. CRWV, guys, I'm just going to say they added an absolute crap ton of like 162.5 calls to the option chain. They added all of their strikes today. Typically when we see that, they're trying to take, more money off of retail before like rugging it. I'm paying attention on the pullback, but guys, I put it on your radar at $65 fucking dollars. Pardon my French. I am sorry, YouTube algorithm. I apologize. $65. I let this thing just skyrocket on me. I did not take action. Okay. I don't know if you guys took action, but I'm telling you right now, we were bullish on it down here. Okay. We were saying like a pullback is a buying opportunity down here. I just didn't think it was going to just keep going like that. I thought we were going to get a day like this, pull back here. I was going to take the entry over here. But as we could see, it just kept skyrocketing. This thing is extended. This thing is probably going to pull back, let's just put on the 9 EMA here. It's not even back at the 5 EMA, which is going to be at 93 bucks. Okay, the 9 EMA is all the way back down here at 83 bucks. I'm telling you for a fact, we're likely getting the reversion to the mean now. I know this thing, last red candle, you just kind of skyrocketed. Please don't put yourself in a risky situation over here in case this thing actually does decide to rug pull and get that larger reversion to the mean that we've been talking about. Not been talking about, that we just talked about. Okay? But it's definitely something I'm going to be watching on that move down. I don't think it's going to get back the whole move. I think it's probably going to come, we're talking 75 to 90 bucks, and you're probably going to find buyers somewhere in between here. I don't know exactly where, but I'm going to be watching it over here on the 4-hour time frame for that. Okay? With that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please remember to leave a like. Even if you did not, at least you know stuff that you don't like. Okay, at least maybe if you want to fade me. Okay, if you don't even like my technical analysis and you think it's crap and you want to fade me, all right, you're still finding value in it. So please just remember to hit the like button so we can hit the YouTube algorithm, get some attention onto the channel. I do my best to provide you guys with actionable analysis 5 days a week here. We do a weekly update every weekend, and that covers the game plan going into the week, what we're looking for, as well as like 10 to 20 trade ideas usually. And then on top of that, we do a daily update Monday through Thursday, usually right after the bell. They are sometimes at different times, depending on what's happening in the market that day. All right, maybe sometimes I want to see things settle. So just put on the bell notification so you get alerted every time we put out a video. And then you will always make sure you are prepared to take advantage of the market. And I promise, if you practice the right principles over time, you are going to start seeing progress. You are going to start having your mind blown. And I will give you guys the tools, all the setups, and all of, the actionable technical analysis that you do need constantly here to take your trades. All right. That sounds good. And you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.